Hey folks, Ken here. Just thought I'd do a quick update. Really nice weather here in Dublin the last week. I think it has been most places. It's a bit cooler today. Pond is currently at 24 degrees, and that's without very little heat. There was a couple of cooler nights about a week ago that the heater came on, but otherwise it's been fairly natural from the sunlight. I've had a complete and utter ball ache, excuse the language, with the filter, and I'll explain in a few minutes, or I'll explain shortly. Um, what I did was, you can possibly see here, I purchased a screen. So what I wanted to do was add the pond pads or the pond chips. You've probably seen them. I don't have any because I didn't get any. The little sort of foam round pads about like that. Um, and they replace some of the plastic media. So my problem was that the slats in the filter were too big, so those pond pads would have gone through. So a friend of mine was ordering a filter, and I got this screen to go in. The first ball ache was that you can see that this drive bar for the drum, the motors here, the drive goes over or through, whatever you want, the biochamber and onto the drum. That had to come out. Now, my problem is that you undo the motor, which is fairly easy, and it pulls out. There's 4 bolts on it, no problem. There's one bolt as well on the drive shaft. They're all hex, which I meddle with the cars, so I have plenty of tools. Um, the ideal would have been that the drive shaft comes out completely. As you can see, with the location of my filter, that is just not possible. So I got it out enough, and then I had to remove this flow or this input, which is from my trickle tower, which wasn't a big deal. So I got the drive shaft back enough. It came to about here. However, there is a large disc. So this pipe here, this is the air input for the biochamber, goes down, and then there is a pressure pipe. There's a 90-degree, it goes across sort of into the middle of the biochamber, and there's a large plastic disc with a rubber bellow on it. You know the deal. So bending over here, my back isn't the best. It's not great. As I said, it's both ball ache and backache. Um, my son gave me a hand, so he leant in and was undoing the um, air disc, the diffuser. Oh yeah, it's coming, it's coming. The next thing we heard, a crack, and he did get it off, but we could then see the 90-degree, and I just showed it's on the ground here, the 90-degree that goes, this is a threaded piece, there's a female or a male thread on the bottom of the diffuser, so this comes out on a 90, sticks up, and as he screwed it, crack, this broke. Um, and as you can gather, that was not good. Um, what I was able to do in the meantime was I had a couple of air stones, and I was able to temporarily get it going. I did drop down, luckily, about a mile away from me is an irrigation supplier that I got all my pipe work. They didn't have one of these exact, which has a reducer in it to 20 mil. I think it's 25 or 22, I can't remember. And this threaded piece, I think, is 1.5 inches. So they had to make up a piece, which was a 20 mil elbow, or sorry, a 25 or 22 mil elbow that had a reducer in it, and then a piece of 22, 25 mil pipe, and then this threaded piece. So it raised up the diffuser by about 30 millimeter. I did get it done on my own. My back is killing me. I had to lean over. It wasn't easy. There's two sort of U pieces plastic welded that the pipe, the 20 mil pipe goes through. Getting it solvent welded wasn't easy. Sore back, lots of bad language. I didn't video any of it, unfortunately. It was such a hassle of a job. Anyway, it's done, and the biochamber is back working. What I did notice was that I now have a couple of, it was never great in the corners, but definitely here on the bottom left, there's a fairly large dead spot. Now, is it that the disc maybe is not as effective as it was? Possibly. Is the fact that it's 30 mil higher than it was a factor? Very possibly. Is it also that this screen that I added decreases the size of, so this is a little ledge here. This was the actual wall of the biochamber. This is now the wall of the biochamber. So I've lost about 5 centimeters. Now I did take out, I'd say about 20 or 30 litres of media yesterday. It didn't make an awful lot of difference. So I just put it back in, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'll order the pond chips or the pond flakes. They're not cheap, like they're about €40 plus shipping for 10 litres of them. Now you don't need many. They have a massive biological area compared even to the Helix or the K1 Micro. So I will take out a fair amount of the Helix when I get the pond chips and just add them. But oh, you know, sod's law. I was sort of cursing, you know, I just had an opportunity to get this from DVS while a friend was getting a filter made and it was shipped with his, so it saved on shipping, but it was such a ball ache to get in, and never again. I hope I never have to take it out. Although what I did notice on the diffuser was there was an awful lot of calcification both in the pipe and around the threads, and I think that's what causes. And I was thinking, but there shouldn't be calcification, it's just air. It's not, because now, for example, when I have the diffuser turned off, the whole lot of course fills with water, so there is going to be calcification. What I did was, though, I put some silicone grease around the threads of the diffuser, which will hopefully make it a lot easier. What I did notice as well with the pipe, I don't know if you can see, but at the top there was obviously no glue for some reason. So whoever glued it didn't do it very well, or didn't give it a twist to make sure the whole circumference of the inside. So that possibly caused a weak point. And then with the size of the air disc, which is, you know, I'd say a good foot, it gives a fair bit of leverage on the pipe when you're pulling it out. So that is it. Thankfully it's back up and running. Not absolutely optimal. I don't like dead spots. I'm just going to leave the media there. In the next few weeks I'll order. I was looking up Oasi pond pads. Seem to be very unavailable, but seemingly they're more commonly called pond chips, and they're available in Europe. So I'll get a few of them. Other than that, ponds, fish flashing again. I put in one new fish last weekend for a growing show. Fish started flashing again, so I just did a precautionary PP, and hopefully they're okay. They seem to have stopped now, but yeah, I think that's enough for one update. Other than that, going well. Filter, besides me messing at it, I was telling somebody else at the GVS, besides me putting something through the screen, besides me breaking the diffuser, taking it out, besides me breaking the spray bar, it has been absolutely faultless bar the bits I broke that I've had to fix. But luckily for a lot of it, even the spray bar, it's just standard 20 mil pipe. It was just in here on the what do you call it, the connector that broke, so that was replaced. And the same down below with 20 mil pipe. It was easy enough to get the pieces. I could have got the exact part. I looked on eBay, it was available, but it would have taken on eBay a couple of weeks to get it where I needed to get it back up and running. So I just went with the solution that the local supplier had. But that's it. If you have any comments or questions, oh, by the way, the Shiro I'd been mentioning in the last few weeks, unfortunately, I had to euthanize it last weekend. Um, just had stopped eating and wasn't moving and was starting to break out in the red. So I just took the difficult decision of euthanizing it. It wasn't going to improve. I don't know what it was. It wasn't parasites. I'd scraped it several times. It just, over the course of the winter and now into the summer, was gradually disimproving. No swelling, no dropsy. Its swim bladder was definitely gone, because anytime it tried to move, it was finding it very difficult to do so. I tried salt baths. I did treat the pond with BB. Definitely wasn't any fluke or anything like that, but unfortunately it didn't make it, and that's the way it goes. So that's it. On that sad note, I shall leave it. If you have any comments or questions or anything you'd like me to go through in a bit further detail, just let me know. Cheers.